So, how does Bitcoin mining actually work? You have probably heard people say that miners create Bitcoin, or that mining is just computers solving puzzles. That is partly true, but it misses the bigger picture. Bitcoin mining is the process that keeps the Bitcoin network organized, secure, and fair without needing a bank, company, or government to approve every single transaction. When someone sends Bitcoin, that transaction gets shared with the network. Miners collect these pending transactions and try to package them into a new block. A block is basically a batch of transactions that gets added to the Bitcoin blockchain. But miners cannot just add any block they want. Before a block is accepted, miners have to prove they did real computational work. This is called proof of work. In simple terms, a miner takes the block data and runs it through a cryptographic process again and again, changing a small number each time until they find a result that meets Bitcoin's rules. The result has to be lower than a target set by the network. That sounds abstract, so think of it this way. The miner is trying different combinations until one of them fits a lock. There is no shortcut. They have to keep guessing, and the more computing power they have, the more guesses they can make. Once a miner finds a valid answer, they broadcast the block to the rest of the network. Other nodes check the work. If the block follows the rules, it gets added to the blockchain. This is why proof of work matters. It makes cheating expensive. If someone wanted to rewrite Bitcoin's history, they would need to redo the work for old blocks and also outrun the honest miners who are still building new blocks. That becomes extremely difficult because the rest of the network keeps moving forward. Now, why would the miners spend money on machines, electricity, cooling, and maintenance to do all of this? They compete when mining blocks because there is a reward. When a miner successfully adds a valid block, they receive two types of payment. The first is the block reward. This is newly issued Bitcoin. In Bitcoin's early days, the reward was 50 Bitcoin per block. Roughly every 4 years, that reward gets cut in half in an event known as the halving. Over time, fewer new Bitcoin enter circulation until the total supply reaches 21 million. The second payment comes from transaction fees. When users send Bitcoin, they can attach a fee. Miners usually prefer transactions with higher fees because those fees are adding to their reward. If they mine the next block, during busy periods, fees can rise because more people are competing to get their transactions confirmed quickly. This is also why miners compete with each other. Every miner is trying to be the first to find the valid proof of work for the next block. The winner gets the reward. Everyone else has to move on and try again for the next block. That might sound wasteful at first, but the competition part is the security model. Bitcoin uses real-world cost, mainly electricity and hardware, to protect the ledger. Miners have to risk money up front, and they only get paid if they follow the rules and produce blocks the network accepts. The network also adjusts in difficulty. If more miners join and blocks are being found too quickly, Bitcoin makes the puzzle harder. If miners leave and blocks slow down, Bitcoin makes it easier. The goal is to keep blocks arriving roughly every 10 minutes. This adjustment is one of the reasons Bitcoin can run without a central operator. No one has to call a meeting and decide how hard mining should be. The software follows the rules automatically. So, in plain English, Bitcoin mining does 4 main things. It gathers transactions into blocks. It uses proof of work to make adding blocks costly and verifiable. It rewards miners with block rewards and transaction fees, and it creates competition, which helps protect the network from cheating or easy manipulation. At the end of the day, mining is not just about earning Bitcoin. It is the mechanism that lets strangers around the world agree on one shared version of Bitcoin's history. That does not mean mining is perfect. It uses energy, it requires specialized equipment, and mining has become a serious industry rather than something that most people can do from an ordinary laptop or desktop PC. But if you want to understand Bitcoin, mining is only one of the big pieces. That is the basic idea. Miners do real work. The network checks that work, and the winning miner gets paid for helping Bitcoin move one block forward.